What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Mic Check Podcast. This is T Word, the People's Champ. Thanks for tapping in. Today, we're talking about the Gervonta Tank Davis versus King Ryan Garcia matchup today at 7 p.m. Central Time on Showtime Pay-Per-View. Before we get into the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We definitely appreciate the feedback, and we really love the way you all have been helping us grow. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get right into it. So today we're going to have a really big fight. Unfortunately, the undercard is going to be very underwhelming outside of David Morrell and the rematch with Beck the Bully and Gabe Rosado. There's not going to be a lot on the undercard to make you want to tune in early. However, I think you should get in your seat early, get your popcorn ready. I think we're going to see some good fights and a good show. That being said, the main event is why we're really tuning in, right? We want to see if Ryan Garcia, with his puncher's chance, can overcome the skills and power of Gervonta Davis. So the first thing I want to talk about is the weigh-ins that happened on Friday and Saturday. Now, on Friday, due to the contracted weight of 136 pounds, both fighters need to come in under that weight, and they did so. Tank came in at 135.1, just a little over a pound under the contracted weight, and Ryan came in at 135.5, a half pound above lightweight anyway. Makes you wonder if this fight maybe could have taken place at lightweight, and there wouldn't be all these catch weight and rehydration restrictions, and it could have been for Tank's WBA regular title at 135 pounds. But that's a discussion for another day. We're here now, right? So there was a second day weigh-in, and the fighters chose to use the IBF rules, which includes the second day weigh-in. It was scheduled to happen around 10 a.m. According to reports, it happened around 11:30 a.m. And Ryan weighed in at 144.9, and Tank came in a full pound over his first day weigh-in at 144. I'm sorry, not a full pound, but almost 11 pounds over where he was at. Okay. To me, the rehydration, I guess it's smart on Tank's part. He is the A side. He flexed his skills and did what he needed to do to get the things that favored him the most on black and white, right? The rehydration, the catch weight, from my understanding, Tank wanted to fight in 135. Ryan wanted at 140. Ryan said he basically could have made 135 at some point, and he never comes into the ring over 148. So why the catch weight situation was even an issue kind of befuddles me. That being said, we fast forward to both fighters have made weight both times, so we have a fight. Let's talk about the analysis. So we're going to start with Ryan Garcia. He comes in as the B side, and in my opinion, a significant underdog, because by most accounts, while he's a pretty good fighter, I mean, he split 50-50 with Devin Haney in the amateurs. At the pro level, I just feel like Gervonta Davis has proven to be a more complete and better fighter. And what that means to me is he has some very specific advantages that could play out. So for Ryan to overcome those things, this is what I think he needs to do. For one, he needs to work behind the jab and keep Tank at distance. The reason that this is important is because if you allow Tank to get inside, his favorite punch is a nice sharp hook with the right, and often a very nice tight uppercut with the left. If you're within firing range, these punches will land home frequently and with a lot of power, because he doesn't have to overextend himself, something you'll see him do in the film study. Now, if you could work the jab, you're going to force Tank to overextend and take unnecessary chances, which can ultimately lead to either a left hook to the head by Ryan Garcia or a feint to the head and an off-time body shot to the liver. And because Tank is a southpaw, his liver is forward and is exposed when he's in this natural stance. So if Ryan is really interested in taking advantage of his specific advantages, such as the height and the reach, the jab, and a little bit of a combination behind the jab, eventually setting up the hook, is going to be his path to victory. Now, on the flip side, you've got Gervonta Davis, and what I think happens with Tank is that he tries to set traps for his opponents, so it looks like he's starting slow. Now, if you look at the cards, it's about a 50-50. Sometimes he's behind on the cards. Sometimes he's actually doing well on the cards, but because it's not the most aesthetic approach, many people believe that he's not doing very well. So in this particular fight, he's really going to need to play up the aesthetics, and he needs to look like he's winning early rounds. So just like against Hector Garcia a couple months ago, expect him to start a little bit early, and expect him to try and attack Ryan's body to slow down any lateral movement he may try to do later in the fight. I'll bring this up because a lot of people's strategy is this is what they're saying Ryan should do. Try to rack up rounds early and then just jump on his bike later on. Now that works if Tank can't get to the body early and he can't slow Ryan down for later in the fight. Now, naturally, once you get later in the fight, your hand speed slows down, your lateral movement slows down, a lot of different things go away. So Tank is going to need to take those things away in order to get his offense off later in the fight against Ryan. A lot of people expect this to happen around the, let's say, 8th round. I see a lot of people predicting a between 8 and 11 round stoppage in Tank's favor. I'm thinking if the fight gets that far, he just might not stop Ryan. What I think is that he needs to find his way inside early with good head movement. He needs to be more defensively responsible than he normally is and get inside and force Ryan to throw punches differently, shorten his shots, something he's not used to doing. He likes to swing wide and wing his shots. He needs to get inside and force Ryan to change the trajectory of his punches, which is actually going to work in Tank's favor and give him an opportunity to get inside and eventually lay him down. Now, the final thing I want to do is give a prediction, but I want to talk about the confrontation at the weigh-in and how these guys looked at the Friday weigh-in, the ceremonial afternoon weigh-in, because my understanding is the fighters weighed in first thing Friday morning around 9 or 10 a.m. West Coast time. So what we saw on YouTube and on TV was definitely not the main thing. So there's a little confrontation between Tank and Bernard Hopkins, and Ryan and Tank went back and forth, and just physical appearance of the two fighters, I say they both look like they made weight okay. However, I do believe Ryan looked much leaner than he has in his last couple of fights because he's not been able to hydrate as soon or as much. He definitely looked like he drained down. Remember, his last couple of fights were contracted at 140, even if he was hitting the scales at like 138 or so. He didn't look like he did at 135 or 133 or 132. You get what I'm saying? Like over the week, I feel like Ryan came in under the weight and had to kind of sort of build himself back up to get to a decent weight at the weigh-in. I was down there in Vegas and he looked very lean and slender to me. So unlike what most people think, he had to cut and he was hurting, I think he cut well in advance and had to actually work his way back up. So I don't know how that's going to play for his strength in the fight. But at the particular weigh-in, the ceremonial deal in the afternoon, they went back and forth, John. And Tank says he feels like Ryan had just left the workout because he was trying to cut the last of his weight. I'm not sure that's what happened because Ryan was even eating breakfast and he had oats and everything like that, things that stick with you in the morning. So I'm just curious which direction it was. I think we'll find out after the fight. So to move on to the prediction, I'm going to go Gervonta Davis KO of Ryan Garcia in less than 6 rounds. I think it'll take 2 to 3 rounds for Tank to figure out the range and the timing. And once he can time the speed of Ryan's punches, it's going to be night, goodbye. Get the pillows ready. And the fact that this fight starts an hour earlier than most fight cards, that's going to be pretty exciting as well because we'll be able to jump on social media and talk about this after the fact. So we'd love to get you guys' thoughts. Give me your predictions. This has been T for the Mic Check Podcast. Until the next time I'm out. Peace.